Oakley was born in Dark County. She was born in 1860 in a little town north of here called Willowdale. Now, at that time, it was called Woodlawn. She was born out in the country in a little log cabin. This year, we're celebrating Annie's 150th birthday anniversary, and she is just as well known now and is just as popular as she was then. She got married when she was barely 16. She married Frank Butler, and they had 50 years together, and that's how she got into show business. They were with the Buffalo Bill Cody show for 17 years. It didn't take Frank long to figure out that she was the star of the show between him and her, and he stepped back and was her assistant, and she took over. They never forgot where their roots were from. Annie never forgot about Dark County. She came back here quite a few times. Every time they got a little R&R time from the Buffalo Bill show, they would come back to Dark County, walk the fields, and hunt the fields for birds and small game. She also died here in Greenville. She died of anemia, which is a blood disease. Her body was cremated, and she was buried about 2 miles from where she was born, north of here in Brock, Ohio. She was a famous lady, and she never forgot that she was a lady. She had never wanted to be known as a star. She never wanted to be known as a showgirl or a champion. She was just a common, ordinary person who had a talent that she said was God-given. She just loved the hills, or the countryside out here, and she would come back. And Frank would go to the store in North Star and visit with all the men and tell tales and stories about his time on the road. And he just loved our family.
Well, we've researched Annie and Frank, and we've researched the different shots that she's done and some of the different guns that she had, and we try to tell the story of Annie's life. And we intersperse the shots in with it to show some of the things that she did at that time. As she went through, you know, the different stories, the different books that they have written about her, and some of the things that she did in different parts of her life. So we're in Wisconsin. We actually participate in Wild West shows, which are the full, like Buffalo Bill would have done. We have a Buffalo Bill, and gosh, we've got Johnny Baker, we've got the Deadwood stage, we've had an attack on the Deadwood stage. Oh golly, there's so many of them, I can't even think of all of them, but of course they have Annie lead out because she was always one of the first shots in the show, because her guns weren't as loud as a lot of the other cowboys, and so it got the women and children used to the sound of gunfire before the whole entourage came out. And so,
well, one of the contests was to shoot at an axe blade, and if I hit that axe blade just right, the bullet would split in two and hit 2 targets on either side of that axe blade. And we've got that shot set up for you here. You'll see those 2 red targets there? Right in the middle is an axe, and we're going to see if we can do that shot for you. My oldest sister was married and living in Cincinnati, and I went to visit her. My brother-in-law had heard that I was a pretty good shot, but he wanted to see for himself, so he took me to a shooting gallery.
And while we were in Paris, a man threw his pocket watch into the arena and asked Annie to do something with it. So Annie did.
guessing he's not going to be able to tell time by that watch.
After returning the watch to the gentleman, he believed that he could only tell time accurately twice during that daytime.
I think so.
He better straighten out.
Oh, there you are, Frank. Okay, now I can go on. Okay. The very last day of our performances at the Chicago World's Fair, we invited all the poor and orphan children to come for a free day at Buffalo Bill's Wild West. I gave them one of my cards that I had shot, one of my practice cards, which was the Ace of Hearts. That was their free pass into the show. Well, we're going to try that shot for you now. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't.
1894, Thomas Edison came to our Nutley, New Jersey home and asked Annie if she would come to his studio in Orange, New Jersey. He had just invented the kinetoscope, a moving picture camera, and wanted Annie to come to his studio and be one of the very first women to ever have a movie made. So on November 1st of 1894, we went to his studio. Annie performed 2 different shots, one shooting at a board with clay pigeons, and then Frank threw up targets for her to shoot at. You can still see this movie today. It is in the museum. It's about 25 to 30 seconds long, and we'd like to do that shot for you now.
The first time my family was able to see me perform with Buffalo Bill's Wild West was in Piqua, Ohio in 1896. Excuse me. But my favorite performance of all times was when Buffalo Bill's Wild West came to my hometown of Greenville, Ohio. We performed right across the street in the field over there. My mother, my brother, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews were all there, and it was a wonderful day. Well, after we finished our performance and before we left the arena, one of the town lawyers presented me with this loving cup. They had it engraved, and it reads, "To Miss Annie Oakley from her old home friends, Greenville, Ohio, July 25th, 1900. I prize this more highly than anything ever presented to me." In 1918, our dog Dave became known as the Red Cross Post Dog. during our performances, we would invite people to donate money. But first, we would wrap it in a kerchief and hide it somewhere on the ground. If Dave could sniff it out and retrieve it, the money would get donated to the Red Cross. One day, Dave earned $1,625 for the Red Cross. Well, we have Dave here with us today, and he'd really like to do his special trick for you. Would you like to see Dave? Would you like us to bring Dave out? All right. Now, of course, Frank being a dog trainer, he taught some of the same tricks that he taught. Isn't he cute? He just loves to perform. He loves kids especially. And he sits so still he doesn't even move a muscle. Frank has taught him to sit still so we can shoot the apple off his head. That's true.
All he wants.
What a good dog.
So let's hear it for Dave. And now I'd like to leave you with these words. Aim at a high mark and you'll hit it. No, not the first time, nor the second, and maybe not the third. But keep on aiming and keep on shooting, for only practice will make you perfect. And finally, you'll hit the bullseye of success. Thank you very much.